Welcome to Tami's Soul Speak, featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks, offering insight, spirituality, transformation, and clarity to every soul. Now, here's Tami.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you, wherever you are in the world. And oh my goodness, the title of this show, Empaths and Animals as Empaths, and the world is struggling so with compassion and empathy. So, as always, the animals guide us to the very thing we need to look at in the moment. And so I hope as you are joining us that you're looking forward to sharing a lot of empathy with everybody. It's good to see everybody coming in. Susie, it's good to see you. I'm glad you could join us. And Yogi Works from Vegas. What's the weather out your way? We are having coolish weather here, which is nice. It's great for bike riding, but also the bears are out and about, snorkeling up any and all acorns you could find. And so a lot of times the acorns will fly down the hill and gather. And I've rounded a corner before on a bike, and there's like a whole bear family like munching on the acorns, and they look up and they're like, yeah, no, acorns are so much more important than you passing us. So I'm just like, ciao, see you. It's so wonderful to see them out there. They're getting ready for the winter. Hi, Patricia, it's good to see you. I'm glad you made it live. And Constance, great to have you here. Hello, Kara. Good morning to you. Oh, Pamela, good morning. Hello. And Jocelyn, good to see you from Canada. What's the weather in your part of the world? And Jen, Canada too. Nova Scotia. I'm curious, is it still warm? Is it getting cooler? Here too, it's like super wind gusts that are like 13 to 24 miles an hour. So I have to watch that because it can tip a bike really quickly. And Diane, great to have you here. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you. And of course, Daisy is always with you, and Trigger. And Deanna, good morning from the gang. And Jocelyn says, it's been raining for a week. Oh, wow. We have not had any rain. I'm pretty sure we need some. Hi, Agatha. Good afternoon to you. Isn't it an interesting time when we gather? I always feel like it's just the right time for whatever topic we're talking about. Jennifer, good to see you from New York. And it's probably getting coolish there too. Beautiful, 60s, 50s. And Pamela says about 50s. Yeah. Aren't we feeling it? We're feeling that switch, that change, that transition piece. And if, you look at the world, goodness gracious, isn't the world in some kind of transition? And isn't the world in need of empathy? And that starts with us. And the animals are experts on that piece. They teach us what we need to see in ourselves always. So, if you've ever felt that unspoken bond with your pet, that silent understanding that goes beyond words, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And, we do that with each other as well. Even, if you see an animal walking with somebody and that you make eye contact with that animal, did you know that that is an unspoken transmission that is uplifting spiritually for both you and for them? So nothing is too insignificant. No glance, no heart offering is ever insignificant. Nancy, you are from Ontario. It's beautiful. You guys all have to send me some pictures sometime on my Tami@TamiHendricks.com. I'd love to see some snapshots, or post it on the page so we can all enjoy. That's probably even better. Good morning, Charmaine. Early for you. Thank you for being here. Oh, yes. Well, I think I don't think, we all are empaths here. We're all telepathic. We're all connected in so many ways. I always, because of, I think, how I grew up, I learned that family I create family everywhere. And so if we have that premise that family can be created anywhere you go, that can happen. I've had it happen standing in the grocery store line where, we kind of all join together and we're all talking about the same thing, and there's this special moment. So I feel like we have a lot of special moments. Joy, glad you're here. This is wonderful. So, like I mentioned, when I was growing up, I look back now and I realize how of an empath, and we'll talk about that word a little later, I was just naturally, because I was watching all the adults. I was watching all the, drama and the really hard things to watch. And I could feel underneath whatever was happening. And the animals worked with me growing up. After I became an adult, it's taken a village, but they've taught me so much about how we all communicate beyond words. And we're doing that now as I'm reading your comments, Denise. Oh, I love you being here. You all make such a difference. And Carolyn from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yay. So I would say that the empathy, that part is kind of the secret language animals use, that we use. Just by being with an animal automatically activates that, what I call that in-between space, where we can see, we can feel, and we can communicate without words. So if you don't mind, I'd like to read something to you that dropped in 11th hour, right? Not too, pretty close to when the show came on. The animals channeled something, and I was trying to get it down as fast as I could. And when I finished, I looked at it and I was like, well, I just need to read this, and I put at the top of it, I typed it out, so I'll read that to you. But let's have an experience. Let's start out our time together with a really powerfully energetic experience. You ready? So for this one, we're going to close our eyes. I want you to take a deep breath, breathing all the way into your heart space, bringing awareness into that space. Breathe in and breathe out. Let go of any tensions you might have brought. Let's get in the room together. Notice what your heart energy feels like this moment. Your own heart energy. And as you notice, you can say, I connect with my heart now. Or you could put your hand on your heart. Whatever works for you. Really connect with that space. This is your own sacred space. Now slowly, I want you to feel into the energy around you and of our space together here. And of all the beings who have joined us at this time, animal and human, guides and spirit. You are part of a group of loving, caring beings who hold compassion as their highest value. So many sensitive beings here. And as you feel the others in our precious space, send the love in your heart out to them. Send that love out to our group right now. And as you do that, I want you to send wishes for their healing, for their highest good. Let that love and your intentions expand and reverberate out now. Feel that going out from you to them. Any direction that wants to go. It'll go to just the right spot, to somebody, to a being that needs it the most. Now, bring that focus back to your own heart. I want you to open your heart to receive all that love coming back to you, because they're sending their love and wishes for your healing, for your highest good. I want you to sit with that just a minute. Sit with that feeling of love coming back into your heart. Be in receiving mode. Be vulnerable in your own heart. Let all the love in that you can possibly let in. Now take one more deep breath to anchor it in, and you can open your eyes. I'd love to know what you're feeling right now. If you're feeling anchored in the room, if you're feeling connected to all of us, if you're connected to all of the animals in the world, to all the suffering. Tell me how you feel after this. I'll look for you in the comments. And while we share and process what we just did together, how many of you felt that your pet picks up on your moods? How many of you felt during that short little, what do we call it, a meditation, a little in-between space that we created, how we could feel each other? Because I certainly feel you all. I know each and every one of you. Energetically, you stand out like a beacon. You're like neon signs on those comments. I love it. Pamela says, a little more grounded. Yogi Work says, feeling and finding higher love. God, that's beautiful. I feel that too. And that's the animals and spirit channeling that in. Oh, Diane says, my heart feels lighter, which is great. And Shannon says, connected to the animals and those who have passed on. Yes. Oh, beautifully said. Claire says, I had the vision of a plasma ball after we all connected. I felt all of my stress literally drop away. That's beautiful and very organic. When this dropped in this morning, I'm like, this will be interesting. Maybe we need to start out every show like this, right? So that we can ground ourselves and come into the room and the space together of our hearts. Pamela says, Beacon is the name of one of our new kittens. Beautiful. I love that. And Kara says, I needed that. Kara, how did you know I needed that too? Apparently I needed it because it came in so fast. And Patricia said, love meant to say. And Charmaine, I feel love and compassion in my heart for everyone, and from everyone I know, Blue is here. Yes, always. Always Blue is here. And all your animals come. Oh my gosh, they crowd the room. They knock the door down. They bring you here. They drop you off like a little package, and they say, okay, you guys have fun going to the spa, going to handle it. We'll come back and pick you up when we're ready to pick you up from the show. Susie said, I do send love to the world that is hurting. And that does not go without notice, Susie. That is extraordinarily powerful. We feel so insignificant at times. You are not. Your small gesture is huge, enormously huge. Janet says, I feel more grounded and connected. Grace used to sit on my feet while I meditated. She enjoyed this today. I love that image of her sitting on your feet while you meditated. She's going to hold you down, girl, so you don't go floating up. Nancy says, oh my God, they all came in. I'm crying from all the love that came, and my heart is just about bursting. Didn't they all come in? I felt it too. So I did well not to sniffle during this whole thing. That's beautiful. And Pamela, Beacon and Shanti, we adopted them 2 months ago. Love it. Amy Beth says, that's a great idea to start every show with this. I think so too, Amy. There was something about it and how it came in and how I was trying to grab it really fast. And I was like, well, I don't have it recorded and we don't have music. And what I heard was, read it, share. That's all I needed to do. It didn't have to be presented in a pretty package, because the package is in the energy and the words, right? And, Agatha says, I feel the thankfulness for all who participated. I feel the comfort that all gave and made me, it looks like, cry a little bit. So that is empathy. That is empathy. We are all empaths. I was recently interviewed for a podcast with Irene Weinberg called Grief and Rebirth, and it's Finding the Joy in Life. She's had an amazing experience in her life with her husband Saul passing. And through the course of the conversation, the animals who were guests too, just like they are now, kept nudging me to talk about heart openings, feelings, and how they help humanity to never close up shop. And I found that interesting. Never close up shop. So Renee, if you would put up that graphic for me. So I'm curious, what does, looking at this graphic and what I just said, what does close up shop mean? What do we do when we close up shop? Like if I said to you, or if, I closed up shop after my, beloved Ollie passed, what would that mean? What would I be trying to tell you? And do you know anybody that's closed up shop? What does that mean? I'd love to hear if you've ever heard that phrase. The animals dropped it in, and I was like, okay, well, I know what I resonate with that. What do you think we do maybe sometimes when we're hurt? And our hearts are hurt. And you have this little dog, saying, I was in your life so you would know how to love and be loved. That isn't insignificant. And this guy was like, I miss you and too many memories to go on without you. Oh. Jeff says, closing our heart. Claire says, you close your heart for many others to love. Deanna, not being our true light self. I agree, Constance. They're never gone from us. Agatha says, close ourselves from emotions. Pamela says, not be open to new things and animals. Have any of you ever closed up shop? I know I don't know that I have ever, but I think the animals have helped me to keep that flowing and not close up shop. Shannon says, my first dog as a child gave me a gift. I always loved dogs and all the animals. I can't close up because of him. What a beautiful gift. What a beautiful tribute. I love that. That's a short story right there. Kara says, shut down from everything all the time. Agatha, are you saying you see it all the time or you do it all the time? I'm curious. Because then I would have to ask you, if it's you do it all the time, well, are you closed up now? Have you closed up shop now? I say, no, you're on the show and you're with us, so you haven't. The animals work with us tirelessly to not completely shut down our hearts. And Irene asked me, how did I have so much emotional resilience in the face of so much loss and grief, which is, in my growing up, it was something else. And I told her it was like the animals who kept my heart open and flowing. It was the animals who kept my heart shapes from becoming too rigid and fixed. And they taught me to be empathetic to all beings. Cindy says, I did that after the loss of my heart dog due to the shock and pain of the loss. It happens. And then, the animals come along to open us up to life again, open us up to ourselves. Agatha says, I close myself off to others that try to get too close. Agatha, my sense is you're really working on that in yourself, and you're really learning about that. And you're actually, hearts are meant to love and hearts are meant to be shared. And I feel like you are definitely in the process of growing within your own heart and seeing where your edges are. Deanna says, when I start to shut down, I hear Dewey saying, we've got this, kind of a kick in the butt. Oh yeah, they can come out with some doozies, of some like kind of a Zen kind of like smack in the head experience. So I like that you pay attention to Dewey. He was very direct and is very direct. And Patricia said, I did close, but in honor of Maggie, I opened my heart to Daisy and Olive, 2 old ladies that needed love as much as me. And that's exactly how we become empaths, and we're not meant to shut down our light. So a question for you: what is empathy? If you had to put it in words, and is it different from sympathy? And Renee, if you put up that slide, I've got some suggestions, but you may have some other ones. So empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, involves placing oneself in another's position, both emotionally and cognitively. Empathy leads to compassion. Sympathy, feeling compassion or pity for another person, but not necessarily sharing or understanding their emotions. Sympathy can lead to feelings of concern or desire to comfort someone in distress, while empathy delves deeper into sharing and understanding those emotional experiences. So would you agree with those like definitions for empathy and sympathy? I always have felt empathy is a shared experience, and sympathy is something that we feel for another. That we are here, the person or being is here, and that we're feeling sympathy for them. Have all of you experienced both sympathy and empathy? Patricia said, I would say empathy is the ability to share love with others and also put ourselves in their shoes. I like it. And Carolyn says, yes. Susie says, I can pick up on what others are feeling and show compassion for another. That's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Question, is empathy a skill or a trait? Or is it learned or naturally inherent within the heart? Have you ever thought of it that way? Is it something we're taught? Is it something that we have to have direct experience for to understand or feel? Do our parents teach us empathy? Did you come equipped, like you already have the software within you? What are your thoughts on that? And while you're thinking about that and sharing, Kara says it's natural. I was going to say, I got curious when I was channeling this show, like, well, who invented the term empath anyway, right? I don't think it's a psychological term as much as when I looked it up, it's like this guy named J.T. McIntosh. It originated in science fiction by a Scottish novelist. It was introduced as, and I love this, emotional telepathy. Isn't that spot on? And it was also used apparently in Star Trek episodes. So I thought that was a piece of trivia you would enjoy. Agatha says, I believe it's within us, but we learn how to share it as we grow. I like that. And we're given experiences, right? We have to practice how to do that. Yes, I totally agree with you. And Carolyn says, it's natural. Kara says, or Susie says, learn from my mother or God-given ability or from my own experiences in life. So would you say it's a variety of things maybe? Your mother showed you by example, or others show us by example? Definitely the animals show us by example. Kara says these feelings can be taught, but unless you have it, you won't understand. Which leads me to the next question. Getting a little ahead of myself, but this is a great thing, Kara, that you said. Do you know people who don't have empathy at all? Have you ever met anybody that has zero empathy? And have you met an animal that isn't feeling, sensing? That's the whole, like, how we communicate. That non-spoken is like through our bodies, through our senses. Marge says, it's good to see you, Marge. Empathy seems to go deeper into ourselves. I like that. I agree. It's well worded. And Susie said, animals I've had in my life have shown her. And Jeff says, yes, I know more than one person who does not have empathy. They fascinate me. A question, do they disturb you? Is it a disturbing thing or just a fascinating thing? Kara says, sadly, yes. And Pamela says, animals always have it. So empath. An empath is an individual who possesses heightened ability to sense, perceive, and often absorb the emotions and energy of other people, in some cases, places, or objects. Being an empath is all about feeling and sensing. It's about reading energy. Animals are experts are reading energy, and newsflash for you all, you are too. You all can read and identify energy probably without realizing you're doing it. Kara said to does the lack of empathy, Jeff says, yes, it is disturbing is a good way to put it. And Kara says, not disturbing really makes you wonder and think how someone can't have feelings for others. I know, right? It is a little just off, right? Because we're not quite sure how that can be. So as I already stated, you read energy. On a dime, you do it every day. You go out there and you're already on it. When you identify how you feel about something or another, you're reading energy. If you were explaining to me what an empath was, Tami, an empath is, can you pull one word that you would use to describe it out of all the things we said? And would you say you're an empath? Yeah, just spoiler alert, you are. So here's a list I want you to think about. When you're looking at the list, jot down which ones describe you. I mean, you might even want to copy the list. Being an empath is a spectrum, and you might resonate with varying aspects to varying degrees on varying days. And so if you would put that up, Renee, are you an empath? So I'm going to describe, Renee, if you would keep this up while I share this with them. So while you're looking at that, maybe checking some places you see yourself. So empaths, deep sensitivity, sensitivity to surroundings, emotions of others, global events and news stories. Anybody been feeling that this week and even before that with all the global events that we've got going on? Strong visuals, noises. So sensitivity to that. I'm sure many of you can't even watch TV. It's hard, to tune into that. Emotional absorption, tendency to absorb or take on the emotions of others. I saw some of you say that on the comments. Often feeling as if those feelings were their own. I can raise my hand on that one. So much so that you don't know whose emotion you have in there. Intuitive understanding. You're often understanding of feelings and perspectives instinctively without needing verbal explanations. Jeff is like, oh my gosh, so many of these. Wow. I'm right there with you, Jeff. Overwhelmed. They can become overwhelmed and overstimulated in crowded or chaotic environments, needing solitude to recharge. If we were sitting in a room together, I would ask you how many, raise your hand, resonate with these first four. And I guarantee you about every hand in the room would go up, like you're doing right now in the comments. Those are your like little virtual hands. Yeah. Carol says easily drained after having so much feeling. I'm worn out. Yeah, because we like do the heavy lifting for everybody else, right? It's like, please give me your feelings because I can do this. So Renee, if you'd pop it over to the next part, the natural healers. Oh, well, sorry, Renee. It's me that did that. If you pop it back up, that was my bad. So natural healers. Many empaths are drawn to healing professions due to their innate desire to help and heal others. Any healers out there? Do you like deep connections? Do you seek profound, authentic relationships and find superficial interactions unfulfilling? Renee, if you don't mind putting that back up there, I think they're still writing it down. So, tuned into nature. Many empaths have a strong connection to nature. I know I do. That's what saved me, the animals, and that's what saved me, going through a childhood. Avoidance of negative media. Didn't we just talk about like, whoa, a little bit too sensitive for hearing everything that's going on? It's so hard. And what about how many of you are highly intuitive? All of you, raise your hands. Yes. You sense things before they happen. You pick up on subtle cues others might miss. Jeff says, my reactions to superficial interactions get me in trouble. I hear you. And, a lot of the world is so surface, and we desire so much more. And Kara says, yes. Easily drained. Are you an easily drained empath? Marge says, hand up again. Have you ever heard of energy vampires? Oh, we so need to talk about that. Or individuals who take more than they give. The Sonia Choquette, whom I talk to quite frequently, she's got this great thing. She says that there are 3 different types. There are go-getters. There are let me think if I can, go-getters, go-getters, go-givers, and go-takers. So which one would you fall in the category of? My guess would be that middle part, especially. Physical sensitivity. Apart from emotional sensitivity, you may also be sensitive to physical stimuli such as bright lights, loud noises, strong scents. Janine says, my mom is an energy vampire. Oh, it's hard being around an energy vampire, and there are a lot of them out there. What about a tendency toward introversion? Renee, if you'd keep that up, please. Many empaths lean toward introversion, valuing their alone time to process and recharge. I need that. Definitely some processing time. Deep compassion. Your highest value is compassion, and you're empathetic, and you are a good, understanding listener. And boundary struggles. They may struggle to set and maintain boundaries because of the desire to help and heal others. Boundaries are a big one, right? Vivid dreamers. Any of you vivid dreamers out there? We need to, I wish we could all raise hands like the introverts in the room. Please, let's step up. So is being an empath then a good thing? Is it a superpower? Is there a downside to being an empath? I think I saw Susie saying, yeah, it's really hard, really hard. So if all of, what we talked about and you identify with so many, why do you think we came in as empaths? What's the whole point? So take a look at the list again before it goes off the screen. How many of these qualities also describe your pet? If you want to jot those down, you've got the deep sensitivity, the emotional absorption, intuitive understanding, overwhelm, natural healers, desire for deep connections, tuned into nature, avoidance of negative media, highly intuitive, chameleon-like adaptability. I might have skipped that one, where you can adapt to various things in the environment. I can raise my hand on that one. Easily drained, physical sensitivity, tendency toward introversion, deep compassion, boundary struggles, vivid dreamers. So I'm watching as you're telling me, a lot of you're checking the boxes that your animals do. As Shannon says, every single one. Constance says, all. Archie was born an empath, and he's an old soul. Kara says, Stetson has several of those. Stephen, Coda was just about all. Yes, absolutely. Janine, all. Poor pets, taking all this in and not being able to verbally let us know. And Susie says, I dream every night. So what would an animal empath be? If that's you on this list, are you an empath? Renee, if you would put up the description of an animal empath, thank you. An animal empath would likely be an animal that displays heightened sensitivity to emotions, right? Moods, energy of humans and other animals. In other words, a highly aware individual. So Renee, if you'll put that next list up, let's take a look at it. And keep it up if you don't mind. I'm going to go through the description while you take a look at this. Now, we did the human empath. This is the pet empath. Take a look at it. Sensitivity to emotion. Animal empaths are sensitive to the emotions of their humans or other animals and can pick up on mood changes. They display emotional understanding, emotional intelligence, comforting behavior. They might approach a distressed individual in an attempt to provide comfort through nuzzling, lying close, purring, other physical acts. I think Janet said that Grace used to lay on her feet when she would meditate. Distracting behavior. They might do something funny or disruptive to balance disturbed or negative energy with others. Mood mirroring. They can mirror the emotions around them. They can mirror anxiety if the person is stressed, or a cat might become even more affectionate when sensing its human is sad. Protectiveness. They might show protective behavior, especially toward more vulnerable members of their group or family. Social awareness. They display an understanding of social dynamics in their group. Shannon, I'm sure you have recognized that with your crew. They recognize when a member is isolated or distressed and often trying to integrate or comfort them. And then the intuitive actions, they can often just know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, just intuitively. And the desire for quiet. Has your animal ever needed to pull away and just, maybe too much play and they go in another room to be quiet? Any of your animals have physical sensitivity that, they can only take so much touch even. I know little Ollie, being feral, he could only take so much touch and then it was too much. Any of you catch your animals in deep observation, like really taking things in, and you look at them like they know, they just know, they're watching. There's a deeper part of them watching. Tuned into nature. Do all of your animals love being outside and just connecting? An empathetic play, that is a lot of times when they play to help another animal feel better. It's really beautiful to watch that. And so Marge said, Isla would nudge me with her nose. Even though Isla is gone, I can still feel her nudges. That's beautiful. And her nudge you. Marshmallow, Susie says, will come and sit in my lap and sleep, I think, to help calm me down. Yes, he's also imprinting you with some calming energy. Janine says, face, red, heart shape. Oh, and Kara, Rocky was that way. He was abused before we got him. He would go off by himself. Yes, I can understand that. I had a client one time upset because her dog would come home from like doggy daycare and would go off into another room. And she said, I'm ready to like have a relationship. And I'm like, they're ready to like, just debrief themselves. And we all need that space. It's all about space. Jeff says, Trigger studies people. It's fun to watch. It's fascinating with animals, actually. Nancy says, my little girl is just now coming out of her shell since she's come to live with me. Her personality is breaking through and she seems to be quite adaptable. Animals are amazingly adaptable. We had an excellent weekend away at a lodge and she's shown Happy Hazel has emerged. I like that, Happy Hazel. I love it. Claire says, all these qualities definitely describe Ronnie, my old soul. She would often walk away for solitude when it became too much energetically for her. Outside was her peace. They also, Claire, they even in their sleeping, they're getting downloads. They're interacting with the other side, especially as they get older. They're doing a lot of that. And so it's really important to allow them, which I know you did, that space. Patricia said, Olive always takes quiet time, just like me. I really think she was sent to me, help me with my grief. I think Maggie helped this happen. Absolutely. Animals that have passed help other animals come in, no question. It's like Red Rover, send so-and-so right over, and they're guiding them straight to your door. Yogi, where it says, my dog Sammy turns into a statue when he decides to stare at something or someone. He can stay that way an abnormally amount of time. Does it get your attention too? It sounds like you notice that, because what I'm also feeling is a different quality of comes into his eyes, like something else shifts in his eyes. I know I've shared this before. Maybe some of you who are new have not seen some of my babies, but Renee, if you would put up that photo of Butch and some of the gang. So Butch came into my life in a pretty dramatic way. He chewed his way down the property. And as I continually sent him on his way, he chewed his way back on the property. So, he was an amazing dog, but he was determined to stay. Made it very clear, and he had quite the healing journey. But newsflash, so did I, and didn't know it when he came. I had a healing journey I was embarking on with him as well. And I often, when I write about him, I will call him the dog with a golden heart. And he lived with me for quite some years. And then he got ill. And one day, I was checking on him, and the picture of me with Butch, and that's Murphy behind me. Magic is the other white dog. I love the way they're not looking at the camera, but they're looking toward us. That's Rosie. And then that's little Emily. She's a little beagle. She was a girly girl. She would have been loving doll clothes. So at any rate, when he got ill, one day I'd been on the phone with a client, and the minute I, finished that call, I went to where he was, and I was checking on him, and he was in the process of passing. It happened very quickly when that train started moving, and all the animals, even more than what you see in this picture, they had made a circle around Butch. And when I ran in there, I was like, oh my goodness, it was a complete circle around him, and he was in the middle. And I came in and they parted the circle so that I could then come in and be with him as he passed, and they closed the circle back up. If that's not empathy, I don't know what is. It's amazing how they are able to sense and know exactly what to do with each other. So I want to ask you, he was a very lovely dog, Diane. He really was. He taught me a lot. Beautiful soul. So Janine says, my female corgis were healers, Noel and Pumpkin. Gosh, what cute names. Pumpkin, Noel. I also healed Pumpkin as she came to me from an uncomfortable situation. Oh, I love that. We always have healing that we need, they need, so it's always reciprocal. So of the list, how many apply to your pet in that pet list? Renee, if you wouldn't mind flashing, I don't know if you can get to it. If you can't, that's fine. Flash it back up there. For the pet thing, how many apply to you? We could go on to the next slide, Renee, where I have both of them. So take a look side by side. How many, isn't it interesting how close they are? And they cross-reference. So would you say that we mirror each other in this empathetic piece? And have you ever thought about that? How similar you are with your own beloved pets? And if so, does that help you understand them more when they're feeling a little overwhelmed, or where they naturally may understand you're overwhelmed? When I got overwhelmed, Murphy, and got out of sorts, he'd call me on it, as I've shared before. Would it make us more understanding of the behavior sometimes that we don't understand our pets are doing? Deanna says, I guess we can add vivid dreamers to the pet side. Yes, I would agree. Would you say, and are you being literal as in animals are dreaming? And they have dreams, which they do. They have dreams. And then they come in dreams, so they orchestrate a lot. Cindy says, I've never thought of it that way before, but it's so true. I know, right? So right side by side, it's amazingly similar how we're all empaths. Our animals are extraordinary empaths. So I have something I want to share, two somethings that if you have a pen and paper, it won't take long. And maybe this is something you can also do after the show into your days beyond. But since we're in the room and we're sharing and we've got all our empathetic windows open everywhere, I wouldn't mind if you would write something to your pet. So what we're going to do here is you're going to put at the top of the page your pet's name. whatever it is, tank, marshmallow, dewy, and then write, when you fill in the blank, meaning when you do this, when you purr, when you, whatever it is, when you do something, I feel, what do you feel? What do you feel when they do what they do? And then when you feel it, and finish it off with, and my heart, what? Melts, opens. What does it do? I've got a little video to help you with this, but I wanted to walk you through, just take 2 seconds to walk you through that. So Renee, if you don't mind, starting out, hopefully I have the right video in the right order with the pet's name. I need that. Thank you. So I don't know what came for you, what words dropped in, and it may be that you started it and maybe you froze. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm in school. I'm supposed to get a right answer. No, not at all. This is simply intuitive writing. That's it. And sometimes that comes now, sometimes that comes later in the day after the show. I mean, there's no right or wrong. And then I'd like to share this next one with you because it's as important to, but it's going to be from your pet's perspective. So you're going to put your name at the top. What would your pet call you? Mom? Would Daisy call you Jeff? Would Grace call you Janet? What would your pet call you? And do the very same thing again. When you, from their perspective, I feel in my heart. So let's see what you get. Renee, if you would roll that twice, I'd appreciate it. So I'm curious, I'm already seeing somebody that shared if the second one was harder than the first. Mary says, oh my gosh, that's powerful. When you stared straight in my eyes, I felt a huge connection in my heart. I knew exactly what you needed. That is beautiful. That's like a Hallmark card. Beautiful. Did anybody else get some words that just dropped in, or some thoughts? You may not have gotten it all filled out. It's so not, important, because what we've done is we've actually lit that pilot light so that this is going to reverberate out in your days, and weeks going forward. And that's, that exercise is actually good to do at any time you feel like you need to connect or want to connect with your animal. It's easy. You've already got the equipment, your heart, and you know how to fill in little notes. So I want to also share, apparently the animals were super verbal, and they kept giving me dictation that now I have to share with you because I'm just the messenger. So Renee, I think I have a slide, a note from the animals, and I'll read it to you. And I may not have, there we go. So this is what they told me. And I'll get to your comments just a minute. I love that you're sharing. Now more than ever, it's important for humans to stay in their hearts and not close up shop. Keeping your heart open and flowing is key to healing yourself, others, the world. You may think your actions are insignificant or that they don't matter. Any thought or action that comes from the heart flows out in the world. Cultivate empathy, for it is a powerful healing force that connects all beings. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when you shine your heart's light in appreciation and gratitude. We will forever hold you in your highest state with unconditional love so that you may see and embrace it within yourself. I'll tell you what, the animals are articulate, are they not? Let me see what some of you have written. Pamela says, when you feel happy and calm, I feel complete. Beautiful. And Stephen says, Dad, when you laugh, I feel connected and my heart opens. She could always make me laugh. Yes, your heart's meant to laugh too, with music as well. And Martine says, joy and laughter and sharing positive vibes, exploring love to nurture so many animals, pets, my friends, and ones beyond. Beautiful. And Patricia, Maggie knew I did not need words to know what she needed or wanted. So true, because it speaks volumes, right? And Mary says, Mama, when you hugged and kissed me, I felt so happy and my heart swelled. Oh. And Donna says, I got Mummy, when you give me the little kisses on my head, I feel so loved and saved. That's beautiful. See, direct downloads right here on the show, right here during our time together, just because we've opened up that beautiful portal. And that portal will stay open, stay in your hearts, and it stays open. And it flows out wherever you are in your life. And Kara says, Tank, when you look deep into my eyes and you put your head on my lap, I've never felt as much love as I did in those moments. Ooh. You know how we capture snapshot moments? That is a heart snapshot moment right then and right there. And you just shared it. We all are like, oh, our heart swelled. Janine, what is it, Mushu? Too cute. When you wrap your paws around my arm, I feel full and my heart bursts. Mom, when you hug me, I feel happy and my heart purrs. Beautiful. I hope you keep these. I hope you keep them in your notebook and look at them during the week and look at them when you need a little uplifting and let the animals, channel that straight to you. Gosh, I love, all the openness that you've got going on, all this creativity that is now kicked in, and the animals have a direct line to you. So I'd like to get just to a few of the photos and questions that you sent in, and they're always so profoundly, sometimes very poignant, poignant beauty. So this is Eric. Can my wife and I have a mini reading, please? Is Eric upset with us euthanizing him? So Raymond, Eric says, and the minute I saw this, he wants to share with everybody that our animals are never upset with us euthanizing them. He says animals have a participation in that. So while it looks like we're doing something to them, we're not. We're supporting them in their journey home. And that's what we would do. There's no upset at all, he says. So humans have it all wrong. We're all in this together. So I hope that helps. Very precious photo. This is Kara. This is Rocky. We lost him last year, the night before Christmas. Out of all my babies I've lost, Rocky comes to me in my dreams quite a bit. He's always there for the whole dream. Wow. Could he be trying to tell me something? He was the one that alerted me that I had brain tumors and health issues. A true healer, empath. He would come smell inside my ear and then lay with his nose almost in it. I'm sure he saved my life by doing that. I'm hoping he is coming in the dreams to hang out with me, but I can't help but be concerned there's something deeper. I see where you're heading with this. So I would ask him to be very clear with you. My sense is not something concerning. And until I read this last sentence, I was not feeling that direction from him. It feels to me you are opening up quite a bit psychically and intuitively, and he's coming to you more and more. And so I would definitely jot it down, keep a journal, see how it makes you feel, each of those dreams. And ask him, Rocky, if there's something I need to know, please share with me in a dream, because apparently that is a good venue for the two of you, a good platform to connect together. So I hope that helps, Kara. It's an ongoing connection for sure. This is Danielle, who says, I'm submitting a photo of my dog, Marky, who is alive. My question is, do our pets of the past ever come through our current pets to communicate? Yes, they do. Since Holly's passing, and more recently, we lost another hound about 2 months ago, she takes on similar notions and actions as them. Specifically, our old dog, Sophie, who is the most recent to pass, would stand at the couch and swat with her paw when she wanted to jump up and get under the blanket. Marky never did this prior, and she started doing this just about 3 weeks ago. Oh my goodness, I love that this is happening. You've got a gang. I'm feeling a group, definitely a group of, it's a soul family. And so the animals do a lot of, we can talk about this, this whole show in itself, soul blending of souls that blend together and are new souls, but they're still blended souls, and they take on the characteristics of another. I love this. And so when you see this, I would just thank Sophia for giving you that sign, because when you notice it, then you're receiving the message and what they're sending. Does that make sense? And that Marky Dever did it prior and started doing this. It caught your attention. Pay attention to what you notice. Notice what you notice. You're definitely getting signs like, I'm here, and, pay attention to this, like watch this, like watch my moves. That's really beautiful. I hope more happens for you. I definitely would keep it noted. I'm just a big one for like noting what's unusual, because then we get busy in our day and we forget it. And when we look back, we're going, wow, that really happened. So I hope that helps, Danielle. This is Lisa. I found Twinkles on July 19th. We became instant friends. Twinkles is my dream kitty. Twinkles loves being called your dream kitty, by the way. He follows me everywhere inside and outside of the house and is very vocal. He talks to me, meows when I talk to him. We have conversations. He seems to understand, and he is the loudest purr. Yes, he's very vocal. He's very direct. You're not going to miss a thing with Twinkles. We both feel safe with each other. It's a very deliberate coming into your life, Lisa. I'm hearing direct path. So, you may want to jot down what you're going through right now and wonder why Twinkles has come in at this point, because there's an instant soul recognition is what I'm feeling. It's like two souls that know each other, that have picked back up in life, and you're here to do some more things together, some more learning, some more soul growth. He is very glad to be, ensconced and at the ready. So I'm going to be curious to see what adventures the two of you have and what growth comes forward. Well, gosh, we're out of time, but it's been such a nice time with you. I have so enjoyed it, and I enjoyed all your sharing, because when you share, we all learn and our hearts grow, and we take that forward in the world. So I appreciate it. Honored that you come. Looking very forward to our next time together. I want to say it's October 25th, if I have my dates right. Let's always keep the conversation going. I hope you have a very good week. See you next time.
You've been enjoying Tami's Soul Speak featuring animal intuitive and medium, Tami Hendricks.